CBS News today at Incheon Airport that afternoon looked like any ordinary day. At least to anyone who wasn't used to recognizing the tiny signs that often foreshadow a brewing storm in the Korean entertainment world. The sky was gray, airport traffic flowed normally, and staff members hurried through their routines. But something felt different. A tension lingered in the air, subtle yet unmistakable, like a whisper crawling between the rows of seats in the departure hall, carrying a warning no one could fully understand and no one noticed it at first. Even the reporters, always quick to spot anomalies, had yet to sense anything unusual. That was until an airport staff member, known for being unusually quiet, suddenly sent a message to a senior journalist. "He's coming." But not like usual. There was no need to clarify who he referred to. That single word pointed directly to one name: Jungkook, BTS's golden magne. A global star whose every small movement could shift worldwide trends within minutes. But today, something was undeniably different. Something unspoken. Something urgent. And that alone was enough to make the journalist rush out of her seat and speed toward the international departures area. Jungkook arrived without his usual heavy security escort. No long line of black vans. No HYBE staff pacing around with clipboards and earpieces. Instead, a single black sedan stopped at a distance from the entrance. Jungkook stepped out wearing a dark hoodie pulled low over his face, a black mask, and a hurried stride that looked nothing like the casual confidence he usually carried. He looked like someone who didn't want to be seen, or someone who didn't want to leave traces. A fan, who happened to be at the airport to drop off her friend, claimed she witnessed the moment. She said Jungkook moved differently than usual. Normally, even when rushing, he would still lift a hand to wave, just briefly. But this time he didn't. He walked straight without hesitation, as though something was pushing him to leave quickly. Something urgent. Something secret. And stranger still. HYBE stayed silent and no departure announcements. No explanation of overseas schedules. No notification about brand events, shoots, or business meetings. Nothing. Even Weverse and Instagram remained still, eerily empty, as if nothing was happening at all. This silence was what threw fans into panic. HYBE's silence regarding a BTS member's unexpected departure was not normal. Even for personal travel, there was usually a hint, a whisper, a rumor. But now, absolute silence as murmurs about Jungkook's sudden appearance spread. The airport, once calm, turned chaotic within 5 minutes. Fans poured in without understanding the situation, following only their instincts. Jungkook was doing something unusual, something enormous. Many recorded with shaking hands because the aura Jungkook carried that day wasn't the aura of an idol traveling for a regular schedule. A quietly terrified staff member from the airline whispered that Jungkook used the VIP route without any special request from the agency. Something unheard of. HYBE typically handled everything in advance. Private access, tailored security routes, precise coordination. Not this time. Even more shocking, Jungkook's ticket had been purchased only 19 minutes before he arrived at Incheon. So why was Jungkook going to Paris? That question struck the fandom like lightning. Paris was indeed a city Jungkook frequently visited for fashion events, photo shoots, or brand meetings. But usually there were signs. International fashion photographers would hint something. Journalists would speculate. Someone from the industry would leak a clue. Yet now, complete silence. One well-known fan site reported receiving an anonymous message. "If you think this is about fashion, you're wrong. It's something bigger." That alone sent the fandom into spiraling frenzy. Some speculated Jungkook had received an offer for an ultra-secret global collaboration. Others believed he was being considered for a Hollywood project with scenes filmed in Europe. The wildest theories suggested a haute couture designer personally invited him for a confidential debut as a global fashion icon. But one rumor shook the fandom more than any other. The possibility that Jungkook was flying to Paris to meet someone important, whether a global musician, a renowned choreographer, or a significant person in his private life. Some fans began connecting his sudden departure with Jimin's disappearance from the public eye over the past 2 days. No updates. No fansite pictures. No known schedules. The combination was too suspicious. Many armies believed both were involved in a secret joint schedule that had been whispered about for weeks. Then on a Korean army forum, a blurry basement photo, claimed to be taken at HYBE the night before, spread like wildfire. It showed 2 hooded silhouettes facing a digital board with the words, "Confidential. Stage Draft Paris." Though the authenticity couldn't be confirmed, the photo alone was enough to convince fans that Jungkook was preparing something monumental. A secret stage, an unreleased performance, an undisclosed recording, or a groundbreaking collaboration. When Jungkook's plane finally took off, the airport fell into chaos. Fans cried, panicked, desperately zooming into every blurry frame of video they captured. They analyzed his posture, the tilt of his head, even the stitching on his hoodie, and when flight trackers confirmed the plane's direction, straight to Paris, the speculation only grew. Some insisted it was for music. Others believed it was personal. Some were convinced he was on a completely different mission, one known only to a tiny circle of trusted people. But what terrified fans most was this. HYBE still said nothing. No clarifications. No reassurances. No Jungkook is on personal travel. No attempt to calm the fandom. This silence wasn't normal. Not for HYBE. Not for BTS. And definitely not for Jungkook. Senior journalists began interpreting HYBE's silence as a sign that the trip involved something they could not publicly disclose yet. It could be contractual secrecy, security concerns, or a project so big that revealing even a hint could ruin everything. Meanwhile, across the world in Paris, a fan claimed to have spotted someone resembling Jungkook entering a speeding black car, accompanied not by HYBE staff but by 2 foreign private security agents, something that deepened the belief that this was no ordinary trip. Then, a Korean army forum exploded with a short audio clip, allegedly recorded from 2 airport staff whispering to each other, "He won't be in Paris long. Only 36 hours. But whatever this mission is, it's nothing like usual." That was enough to send fans into global meltdown. Whatever was happening, one thing was clear. Jungkook's trip to Paris was not normal, and HYBE's silence only made the world more desperate for answers. No one knows when the truth will surface. But one thing is certain: when Jungkook returns, something big will happen. Yet just when fans believed the situation couldn't become stranger, the story suddenly took a sharper, more chilling turn. As Jungkook's plane disappeared into the heavy dusk sky above Incheon, a quiet storm began forming thousands of miles away in Paris, one that no one, not even the most dedicated army detectives, had anticipated. At Charles de Gaulle Airport, the usual hum of travelers echoed through the terminal, but security that evening appeared oddly heightened. Additional guards stood stationed near the VIP arrival route, not only from the airport but seemingly from a private firm known for handling high-profile, confidential clients. This was not normal protocol, even for top-tier celebrities. Someone important was expected when the automatic doors slid open and Jungkook stepped into the dim corridor. He did not pause, did not adjust his mask, did not even glance around. He moved as if following a strict path, as if he had been instructed beforehand on where to walk, how fast to move, and who would be waiting for him. A tall man in a dark suit approached immediately, speaking quickly to Jungkook before leading him down another hallway. No one else was allowed to enter.